What the heck? What the heck is that? Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm going to do the BookTube Newbie tag since it seems like a decent way to introduce yourself. Question 1. Why did you start this channel? Well, with COVID happening and pretty much everyone having to stay indoors for most of the year of 2020, I kind of wanted to do something that had to do with my hobbies. And at first, I was looking into streaming, but it would be for video games, not for books. But it just didn't really seem like it was going to work out well enough the way that I wanted it to. And I wasn't really keen on trying to stay on like a same schedule every day. And then in around October, I discovered BookTube. And I mean, the rest is kind of history. I started watching people like Books and Lala, Haley in Bookland, Read with Cindy, who is now just with Cindy, Elias, Fictional Fates, like so many different people. And still, if I have a new recommended booktuber pop up, I always check out one of their videos, see if there's someone that I would like to continue to watch. And so that really helped me get back into reading. And so I figured instead of streaming, maybe I could make videos based on books, because it's something I can edit, I can take time with to build, instead of having it just be like, okay, here's the camera, here's me, I have to go. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Honestly, probably nothing. There are so many booktubers on here, and I'm just your like average normal person. However, I do tend to lean more toward horror in the books that I choose, and so far, just from the few months I've been on BookTube, I haven't seen like a huge amount of horror. There's been some people where, since I started watching BookTube in October, they would read them for that month, but I read it all year long. So it's not just an October thing for me. So maybe I would end up talking about books that some might not know of or see posted about, because I also don't necessarily just read new books. I don't really pay attention to the year a book came out. If it seems interesting to me, then I'm going to read it. I don't really follow new releases. And I'm also not particularly buying books because where I live is a studio apartment. So I don't have bookshelves, I don't have the room for accumulating things. Like, I don't even have a couch that I can film on. I'm just filming my bed here. So the library and what they have is pretty much what I am restricted to. Question 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? Pretty much just participating in the community, and I guess getting more involved in this hobby. Also, when I read, I really like to theorize about where the plot is going, what the plot twists are going to be, and so having those discussions with other people is really interesting to me, and is something I definitely want to participate in more, because before I would just like watch the videos and move on. Now I'm making sure like I like it. If I have some thoughts on it, I'm going to leave a comment. Just trying to participate more in the community overall. Question 4. Why do you love reading? I'm not really sure how to answer that. Like, reading is something that I always remember doing. Like, I have a very specific memory of being in first grade, and one by one we would go into the hallway and they would record us reading like one of those little starter books of like Arthur, Clifford the Big Red Dog, or something like that. And my grandma actually still has these cassette tapes that they recorded of us. I think it's kind of cute. But that's like my first memory of reading, and I remember just loving it and like being so proud of myself because I was considered a really advanced reader for being a 6-year-old kid. And I just kind of took that and ran with it. I was always reading, always had a book in my hands. It's just something I did all through graduating school. So I guess that spark just kind of came from how reading was introduced to me, and it's just something that's stuck with me ever since. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? Oh gosh. Well, like I said, I have that memory of reading like those very basic books like as a 6-year-old. But the series that I really first remember reading is the Goosebumps books, then Fear Street, and I don't remember the guy's name. I think his first name was Jonathan. But there's a guy who wrote these books called American Chillers. And then he went into specific states. So there was Michigan Chillers. And since I am originally from Michigan, I was obsessed with those as a kid. I remember he even came to my school for an assembly one time, like to have a speech and talk and everything. And that just seemed so awesome to me. And so even as a kid, I was already reading like all these horror books and monster books and things of that nature. I also read Harry Potter as a child. I mean, I'm 29, like that generation is pretty much, most of us are going to have read Harry Potter. I read those as they came out, but that's, since I read it as it came out, that kind of like grew up with me. It wasn't something where I just kind of like read the whole series at once. But yeah, definitely Goosebumps, Fear Street, and the American/Michigan Chillers books. Those are definitely the top 3 series that I remember reading as a kid. Question 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I honestly would probably just ask questions about like, what do you use to edit your videos? What do you use to make your thumbnails? More behind the scenes stuff. Because reading is a really personal thing. Like, you can read whatever you want, how much you want, how little you want. And so I don't really want to like delve into that much. All right, question 7. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Honestly, like my anxiety and nervousness with just filming, like I really want to be myself and show more of my personality, but it's so difficult when I feel like I'm stuttering or I'm saying all the time and have to stop and think about what I'm going to say. It's just really hard to get that across into the filming, and I just need to become more comfortable with that, not really worry about it too much, and just be more chill and just let me be me. Question 8. When did you start reading? Like I said before, I started reading in 1st grade. I don't remember if that's when I was taught to read, but it's my first memory of reading, so I would have been 6 at that time. Question 9. Where do you read? Well, it's a studio apartment, so I either read here in bed or just in my computer chair sometimes if I'm reading during the day. That's about it. We do have a terrace though, and in the summer it's nice to be outside, but right now it's winter and that's rainy season here, so yeah. Last question. Question 10. What kind of books do you like to read? I think if you've watched this whole video, you know by now, horror is definitely my top. Gosh, I don't even know why. Like, I remember reading, like I said, like the Goosebumps and Fear Street and stuff, but I don't know why I like that so much. Like even in other things, like with movies and TV shows, I'm really into those as well. So yeah, horror is definitely my top. Thriller kind of goes with that as well. I can't really think of any other ones. On the flip side to that, the genre that is probably my least favorite is romance. It's not anything I really have ever been able to get into, even when it comes to other media. And I just don't really think it's my thing in the end. And that's all of the questions. So there's a little bit more about me and my channel, or at least what I hope it to be. Thanks.